let's take a look at Sunday. NBA streaming. Finish the week off strong, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and my soda is too cold, my teeth hurt. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Also go to lockedondaily.com and sign up for a free NBA newsletter for your favorite team. That's lockedondaily.com. Check it out over there and do all the subscribing and stuff over here on this channel as well. It is Sunday that we're heading into early game, 1 p.m. Eastern start. We've got two games actually. 1 p.m. Eastern and midday Central. A couple of games there. We've got some 3:30 p.m. Eastern games. We've got some 6 p.m. Eastern games, some 7 p.m. Eastern games, and one 9 p.m. Eastern game. So games are over a little bit earlier tomorrow, but early start. So make sure you get your lineups set, ready to go, ready to move forward. It is National Artichoke Day. Marinated artichoke hearts, you're a fan of those? What about just like artichoke in different forms? Boiled, I don't know. Anyway, artichokes are good. On pizza, you agree with that? We agree, yeah? Artichokes on pizza works. Bangers. Cool. I'm sure no one will care. Let's look at the schedule-based things that we need to pay attention to heading into Sunday. We have got, obviously, back-to-backs heading in. Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Oklahoma City. We already know Cam Thomas is done for the year. I would expect D'Angelo Russell sitting in Sunday's game. Nick Claxton's already out on Saturday. The Bucks, I guess there's chances of Lillard and Yanni, and the Thunder are sitting guys for their game on Saturday. So Chet's out, Wiggins is out, we know the Broncos out. I'd expect that Chet's interesting because he played the back-to-back last time, but he's out on this one, and you would think that those guys will be available on Sunday. But of course, we need to check in on that. That is how checking in works. What about going into Monday? Now, Monday is a 10-game day. It is probably a streamable day. So we got a lot of back-to-backs, though. Lakers, Wolves, Sixers, Suns, Blazers, Raptors, Jazz. And there are numerous teams there you should care about. The Sixers, the Blazers, the Raptors, and the Jazz. We already know there's going to be a million guys out across those teams. The Lakers with the back-to-back, and Luka, who's returning Sunday, but we'll see about Monday. Wolves should be fine, although Gobert, I thought he might sit on Sunday, but he's available. The Sixers, I don't think Maxi's playing, but what do they do with Grimes and Oubre and Drummond and Yabusele? The Blazers and Jeremy Grant and Denny Avdia, who's been dealing with a quad issue. The Raptors with all of their guys. The Jazz with all of their guys. We know John Collins is out, and let's be fair, he's not coming back in 2 weeks. He's just not coming back at all. We know that. At least they've given us that information. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that is changing there. Jared Rhoden won't be playing for the Raptors. Not only did he get pushed down to the G League, but he sprained his ankle in the G League. So his time as a fantasy-relevant one-game wonder is probably over. What about some chunk stuff? Sunday through to Thursday next week, Wednesday with an 11-game day in the middle there is probably not streamable. But all of these guys here have 3 games over those 5 nights. Orlando Robinson, Zaire Williams, and Keon Johnson in Brooklyn. And the question's always going to be when Cam Thomas goes down, who's the grab? No one is the grab. I don't think anyone pushes themselves high enough to be this must-grab player, and you would play them under all circumstances. Again, we are usually, at this point of the year, we're going week to week, day to day. So they move up in their value, Keon and Zaire, and Tyrese Martin, and Reese Beekman, and guys like that. But they're not players where you go, all right, I've got them now, and they just lock into the lineup every day, and we're good to go. That's not how I view them. Quinton Post and Moses Moody for the Golden State Warriors are also good chunk plays here. And then Day'Ron Sharpe, who is getting the start on Saturday. We'll see what it means with Claxton moving forward, but he's got value even in some reserve roles with the 3 quality games over 5 nights there. If we look at 5s and 2s, we have got two interesting spots here. Now, again, we know that people are beholden to calendars. We're not. We want to just work on what's in front of us. And for the next 7 days, the Lakers play 5 games. The next 7 days, the Celtics play 2. So that is important. The Celtics were in the midst of a heavy stretch, and we saw sits from Brown and Jaylen Brown. Actually, just at the time we're recording this, just actually left the game with a back issue. Tatum and Porzingis and Horford and White, all these guys have been in and out. Holiday. But now that's a lean period of the schedule. So they should be okay to go, but it means your Cornets and Pritchards and Hauser, I guess, in deeper formats, their value is really, really low, with only 2 games over 7 nights here. Injury statuses to watch in Cleveland. Both Evan Mobley and the Donovan Mitchell are questionable. Mobley, the Koala, I'm guessing they're just going to be sitting a bunch of guys through multiple periods of time here, as we understand. Cole Anthony is questionable. Rui Hachimura, well, he has been ruled out, but Jackson Hayes has been upgraded to probable. So that's a big, big, big news, because Hayes, while he's Jackson Hayes, he's not a game-breaking player. For fantasy, given the other options are Trey Jemison and Alex Len, or even Markieff Morris, he's going to play. And he puts up rebounds, he gets blocks, he has good field goal percentage, and there is no LeBron. He's an interesting guy here, Jackson Hayes. And the other one, Grayson Allen there for the Suns. And the reason why Grayson Allen's important is, A, he's a streamable sort of player. But if he is out, and other guys in Phoenix might be out, like BDNR, who's on my next page there, but what it does open up is playing time for like Ryan Dunn, who started last game and put up huge numbers. And his Budenholzer are going to lean back into Iguodaro and Dunn again, the rookies? I don't know, but Allen being in complicates it. Jeremy Grant, he did get ruled as doubtful. The Ides of March, shockingly enough, striking again. So we know that he's not going to play. I wanted to check on the status of Jakob Poeltl. He is available. He didn't play the last game. His last games have been off, on, and then he's back here. But they did rule Emmanuel Quickly out, who has also been playing the reverse pattern, on, and now off. RJ Barrett is questionable. Now, Barrett hasn't run the same pattern. He went off, on, and now he's got an illness apparently. So, garbage, of course. They played the Blazers and they played the Suns on Monday. So, yeah, I would say there's no shot that Barrett actually plays. That's a late addition to that injury report. Quickly's out, Poeltl is back, and it's just going to be, it feels like, with the way their schedule goes, a lot of back and forward between a lot of these players. Karis LeVert popped up for Cleveland on the injury report as well. With LeVert out, you know who gets boosted. It's a bunch of guys. It's Strus, it's Jerome, it's Merrill, it's Okoro. I did it again. Why can I not get in my head that LeVert plays for the Hawks? I did it again. Anyway, LeVert on the Hawks is questionable. Now, him being out there means Terrence Mann, Zach Ricochet, George Niang bumps up. Now, Ricochet's minutes were fantastic in the last one. He played 37 minutes, and the last time that LeVert missed, Ricochet played 31. So it is a boost for him in this spot if Karis is out. We need to check on the Nets guys, D'Angelo Russell and Nick Claxton. We'll be very, very certain that D'Angelo Russell's not going to play. Almost certain that he won't be there. Claxton and Noah Clowney are both out on Saturday. The other one to watch, I guess, is Cam Johnson to see whether he sits on Sunday, because they've had that, obviously, 5-game in 7-night run. We'll talk streaming in a sec. We'll get there in a sec. First of all, we're going to tell you that today's episode, though, is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what happens. If they swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's so simple. In the NBA 24-25 regular season, if a player scores 50 points in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. You can get your lunch, your dinner, party catering, snacks, whatever it is you want. Get a watch party cracking on. 50% off, up to $10 off an order when someone drops 50. So sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use the promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders of participating merchants. You must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That is easy, an extra $200 extra bucks for you to be able to bet on buzzer beaters, Cinderella stories, who you think's got to cut down the nets, the underdogs, the favorites. It's all there at March Madness, and when you do win, you get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, let's talk streaming now. Let's get into points league streaming options for Sunday. Again, things are dynamic. Things are changing a lot. This is just how things work really at any point of the year, but probably a little bit more at this stage. For Yahoo points leagues, again, we are talking about situations here for these teams like Philadelphia, like Toronto, like Utah, where guys are going to be out. In Philadelphia, Lonnie Walker is out. Adem Bona is out. Paul George is out. Kelly Oubre is out. Tyrese Maxey is out. Andre Drummond is out. A lot of guys are out. Justin Edwards and Quentin Grimes, who missed the last game, they will both play. But I'm still interested in Jared Butler as a stream guy here. It could go in many different directions, but Butler has started the last 3 games. In the last 2, he's gone over 30 minutes, so you think that 30 minutes is a possibility for him again here. And that puts him in line for a pretty good Yahoo point stream. I've got Spencer Dinwiddie there as well. The Mavericks are legitimately at risk of being forfeiting games. They might just have to suit up guys and put them in uniform to afford that. In good news, Jaden Hardy has been upgraded to doubtful, so we might get him back. Now, it doesn't really matter next week because there's only 2 games on, so no more than a streamer, but that's happening. PJ Washington is also returning, but you got Caleb Barton and Kai Jones questionable for them as they lost Dante Exum and Olivia Maxence-Prosper to season-ending injuries in the last week. So Dinwiddie's an option. Ricky Council in Philadelphia is an option. Keon Johnson in Brooklyn. With Cam Thomas out, Johnson's floor is raised. I've got Orlando Robinson there, and yes, I know that Jakob Poeltl is going to play, but I don't think Jakob Poeltl is going to play big minutes. In fact, I'm pretty certain that he's not going to play big minutes. But what we do know is that Robinson will, what's he played like the last 5 games? 25, 24, 26, 32, and 34. And one of those 30 pluses was a game that Poeltl played only 17 minutes. So to me, that is important. And unless, and I'm going to go double check this, but Colin Castleton's 10-day contract expires on Saturday. Meaning that at the time right now, he does not have a contract to play on Sunday. Now, he could sign one, but he hasn't got one yet. Let me check whether that's actually changed. I can't actually find any info to suggest that he's been signed to a second 10-day or that they intend to. I think they will, but I don't know that yet. At the moment, we're working on the information we've got, and he will be out of contract for Sunday. Ziaire Williams is the other one there for a Yahoo Points League that I think is pretty much worth it with guys expected to be out, like Thomas is out, and Russell is almost certainly going to be out. On ESPN points, it is a pretty similar list. Jared Butler, Spencer Dinwiddie. I've got Chris Dunn on there. His value does spike in an ESPN Points League. Now, he can be hit or miss. We know this. He could really do nothing scoring-wise, but he can have pop games too. I've got Brandon Williams there. I've got Keon Johnson and Ricky Council IV. Now, Williams' role probably decreases slightly with PJ back, just in terms of how much usage he gets, but he's still going to be useful in that spot. But it is obviously a weird situation for, we know the teams in weird spots, Utah, Toronto, Dallas, Philadelphia. They are all in incredibly weird spots with incredibly fluid rotations and things that can change hour to hour, game to game, and actually often does in-game as well. And it's really hard to be able to pin that stuff down. I don't blame anybody for not being able to figure out the right guy. I can't do it. I've got no idea half the time of how because they could change their mind a million times. I try and be as accurate as we can, and I think we do a pretty good job of it. But they are going to be the 4 teams that really do cause problems for us. If we talk category league and streaming there, if we go to the points category, I don't see anyone with huge 30-point upside, but if some of these teams go crazy on sits, that is possible. So I've got Ricky Council and Jared Butler there in Philadelphia. I do have AJ Lawson for Toronto. There's no Jared Roden and no Quickly. So you're going to have Jamal Shed, but we've seen him get pulled out of games because he's playing too well. Keon Johnson, it's risky. He could drop 2 points on 9 shots. But the opportunity with no Russell and no Thomas, and honestly, maybe no Johnson, Giggity, that's possible there too. Ricochet, especially if LeVert is out. Yeah, that's the right team. He can play more minutes. He is up and down. I know this. And then for very deep leagues, Jamison Battle, who is going to have opportunities, especially if Barrett sits, which I think he will. That'll give Battle an opportunity. No Quickly, no Barrett, no Dick, maybe a no Abaji, although Abaji and Mobo may return in this game. And that team is just going to be very, very messy for a long period of time. For 3-pointers, Dalton Connect, that is what he does. No Rui and no LeBron so still there is a role there for him. They could still start other guys like Goodwin or Vincent, but Connect was great in the last game where everyone sat, and there is an opportunity here to use him. Jamison Battle, again, a deeper league guy for some threes. Lou Dort in Oklahoma City. There is a risk of Dort sitting because it's a back-to-back and they're going to preserve guys. Johnny Juzang with whatever it is that Utah is going to decide to do, they can do a million different things, including sitting guys in game or DNPing someone like Walker Kessler. I would think that Kessler, I think the majority of their guys play Monday. They've got a back-to-back, so I would expect everyone out on Monday against Chicago. I would think, again, that you would not see guys like Markkanen, Kessler, Sexton, Clarkson. Well, Clarkson's already been ruled out for Sunday, so is George. So there is opportunities for Juzang. But it's going to be very, very weird for this team. Well, I think we're all well aware of that as well. Royce O'Neal's a 3-point stream option. George Niang as well in Atlanta is worth looking at for that category. If we go to assists, another guard sort of category. Jared Butler's at the top. He can easily be an 8 or 9 guy. And he's got some scoring and usage upside as well. Jamal Shed is there. Ben Simmons, yes, he is playing like 17, 18 minutes a night. Mike Conley, although I would watch that just because it is first game of back-to-back. It's against the Jazz. He might play 15 minutes. That's a little risky, that one. Chris Dunn and Jeff Doughton Jr. in Philadelphia with all of their guys out, as we know. For steals, Chris Dunn remains available in spots. So, yep, we're looking to him. Jared Butler, Josh Green. If you're looking for not much else, Green could get 2 to 3 steals. Keon Johnson's also a pretty good steals guy. So's Nick Batum, who's a starter, and Zaire Williams. So you'll notice that Batum, Williams, Green, Johnson, Butler, and Dunn, part of the value in these guys is you expect they all play minimum 25 minutes, maybe pushing to 30. Because the longer you're on the court, the easier it is to get things like steals. So we're going for a little bit of safety in the floor value of these guys. Like someone can play 5 minutes and get a steal, but that's really hard to know. We just want the guys with a relative safety level in their floor production and floor playing time. For free throw percentage, I'm going to go to Ty Jerome. Jerome could be useful in the steals as well, and assists obviously too. Ty Jerome, Bryce Sensabaugh, Mike Conley. This is especially pertinent for Jerome if Mitchell's out. So Jerome, Bryce Sensabaugh, Mike Conley, Amir Coffey. Max Christie's been dreadful, across the board dreadful for like the last week and a half, but the role is there. At some point, he will have a good game. I feel confident that he will have a good game at some point. And usually we just like the process of like who's playing, who's on the court, who's getting minutes, and Christie's that. Then we go to Sam Merrill as well, who could get extra opportunity with Donovan Mitchell or even Evan Mobley, both maybe potentially being unavailable for that game. We'll come back and talk big man stats, but today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. When you check your bank balance, sometimes you wonder, well, where did it all go? Where'd the money go? Well, yeah, there's many different things. Online shopping, eating out, entertainment. It's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. And you just don't have to worry about just managing your money, which is important, but it can help you build your wealth. All of your investments, all of your bank accounts, instead of opening multiple different apps to check on stuff, you can put them all into Monarch Money and open them with one easy click. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, let's get through some of the big man streaming stats or streaming categories now to finish off the show. We go to rebounds. Nick Richards still uncertain, and then there is the possibility of Oscar Gadara. And what about this guy, Mason Plumlee, getting ejected 2 games in a row? Surely not 3 in a row, but he's up there for rebounds. Jackson Hayes is there. Gershon Yabusele appears like he will play with Boner out as well. Zaire Williams, Day'Ron Sharpe, and then for the very, very deep leagues, Jericho Sims can come in and get his 7 rebounds in 15 minutes, 16 minutes. He's playing a pretty key role, sort of helping Brook Lopez spell and keep himself fresh, somewhat. For blocks, I do like Jackson Hayes at the top of that list pretty clearly. Then we go to Mason Plumlee, Jonathan Isaac, Nick Batum, Day'Ron Sharpe, and then the night watchman, Mohamed Ayugeh. Down at the bottom. And lastly, we're going to get out of here maybe in under 20 minutes. Field goal percentage, Jackson Hayes. Very, very good at that. Mason Plumlee, KJ Martin, Day'Ron Sharpe, Ben Simmons, and Jared Vanderbilt Bar. And that is a streaming guide for Sunday, March the 16th, National Artichoke Day. Hit the subscribe, hit the thumb, leave your comments. Good luck. Good luck on Saturday. Good luck on Sunday. Good luck as you move forward in life as well. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.